Hey y'all, I have been out in the garden picking peppers. Yes, I told y'all they keep on making and making and making. Y'all see the green ones? Well, since it's quit raining, they were really big. Well, now they're getting smaller. And since it quit raining, remember I told y'all the hotter it gets and the drier it gets, the hotter your pepper gets. Look at these. Ah! They've started turning green and red. I love them. So I put those on the bottom because today we're going to start with green pepper jelly. Right? So I wanted to start with my green peppers, and I'm going to need a cup of green jalapeno peppers. And to tell you what we're going to be doing today, not only, and I need a cup of green bell pepper chopped, and I chopped this really finely. I like my jelly to have just tidbits in it, okay? My pepper jelly. And then after that, we're going to move on and we're going to make some Christmas pepper jelly with these red jalapenos. And I add a surprise little ingredient. It's something I did years ago and I love it around Christmas time. So we're going to make a second batch of pepper jelly is what I'm getting at. But if you can't, like when you go in the stores, you're not going to find the red jalapeno peppers because they've been on the little plant a long time to get that way, okay? They start off green. So what you can do to still make Christmas pepper jelly is you can take a red bell pepper, right? Yes. And then you can add some green jalapenos that you need to buy in the store or from a farm stand. And you still can have red and green Christmas pepper jelly with that surprise ingredient. So that's just what I wanted to say about that. What I'm going to do first, though, this is very important. Please, if you don't listen to anything, please put some gloves on to start chopping these jalapeno peppers because I haven't before many times and think, oh, it'll be okay this time, and no, it is not. It is not okay. And these are some sad little lunch lady gloves I have down here, but I gotta get you some better ones down in here, don't I? I sure do. I've got some better ones in the house. What I want to show y'all what I do on my jalapenos is, of course, I cut off the top and then I just slice it in half for now. And what I do is that vein, that white vein part in there and the seeds I take out, okay? You can take it out with your fingernail, you can take it out with a spoon. I just did it, you know, with my thumbnail. And then you can take a spoon and you also can do it. You just dig in there. It comes out very easy like that. Just like that. And if you want really hot pepper jelly, leave all those seeds and veins in. But I don't. And I want mine to be pretty too, you know, and that would not be quite as attractive with all of that in there. Mucking it up, right? Yes. So anyway, I'm going to do that with all my jalapenos before we chop it. And that's the other thing I want to show you, my bell pepper, what I'll do. I get that core out and the seeds. I always just slice a little bit off the bottom so I can get to the center part. And I don't throw this away. Of course, I'm going to chop that and put in our jelly today. Yes, I am. And if I'm making gumbo or something and I want pretty chops, then I put that in the chicken broth and it flavors it as well, those little end pieces. But today I'm going to, since I'm mincing for my jelly, yeah, we're going to leave it right in there. And I know I look back and forth between my cameras and some of y'all only just a few fuss, but please be sweet. I'm trying to talk to everybody and I don't want to just look at you. I got to look over at that person too, you know. So that's why I do that. And I see many big professional cooking shows doing the same thing. They just don't have comments on where they can get fussed at, right? So anyway, y'all, I try to look back and forth because I love all of y'all. I really do. And I'm trying to talk to all of y'all. Okay, y'all, I cut both ends of that bell pepper off. And now that allows me just to get that center piece out with all the seeds. And then I'll chop it in half. And I'll even cut out those vein pieces in here too. It's that white part, you know, and it's the veins and it's holding a lot of the seeds, but it just doesn't look attractive in our food. So I get that out, and then we're left with this beautiful green. All right, I'm going to do that with everything, and we'll get back on here and mince this up real quick, and we're going to make this lovely, wonderful jelly. Okay, y'all, I have got me some little half-pint jars. There's some other things I'm going to get going. I'm going to get those boiling for 10 minutes in some water. This big old pot, just so y'all can see it. And that sterilizes them. The 10 minutes in boiling water sterilizes them. I also am putting the twist tops and the sealing lids. I only use my sealing lids once because that's what's recommended. A lot of y'all use y'all's more than once, and that's fine. But I'm doing the recommendations. Yes, I am. After I get these boiling, another thing I'm going to do, I also need me a big pot out. I'm going to show that to y'all. Get you a big tall pot to cook your jelly in because it will bubble and rise. Even if you think I don't need that big, you do, because it rises. It tries to boil over. So I want you to have a big. Okay, y'all. I have got de-seeded and deveined peppers here and a bowl to put it in. And I'm going to use this little hand chopper on top. I take this bottom off. It's Pampered Chef. I'll put that in the link, but you can get any kind of chopper. Sometimes I use a food processor, okay? But what I mean is I like to get it minced really, really small, okay? In my pepper jelly, I just like little pieces. You can put big chunks. That's a preference, whatever you want to do, right? Yeah, so I'm going to mince away. Just like that. See how pretty that is? See, it's nice and minced. And I'm going to do all these, and then I'm going to do the jalapenos. I'll show you how they mince up just as easily. Or you can put it all in the food processor, just like I said. Yeah, see how pretty? Now it's little bitty green tidbits in your jelly. All right, let me finish these and we'll get over that stove. While I'm getting everything together, I need 1 1/2 cups of white distilled vinegar. And I need 6 cups of white granulated sugar, and I need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm just using table salt. I didn't even bother to get canning out. And 1.75 ounce package of powdered pectin. You can use liquid. You'll just put that in at the end instead of before you boil. And 1 cup of green bell pepper and 1 cup of green jalapenos. Our jars are nice and sterilized. They're just sitting there waiting on us, pretty as you please. We are going to get started. We're going to start with our 6 cups of white granulated sugar going in. And 1 1/2 cups of white distilled vinegar going in. And then our 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Get on in there. And this is what I like to put in next, is my powdered pectin. I get Sure Gel, it's 1.75 ounces. And I like to put it in, you know, if anything's powdered, it needs to go in while it's still cool and get mixed in before it's boiling or it just clumps. Y'all know that with anything, right? Flour, anything. So I'm going to get the sugar dissolved and get my pectin dissolved, which only takes just a few seconds. And then we're going to add in our green bell pepper, 1 cup. It's a real simple recipe, isn't it? And 1 cup of green jalapeno. Now I do not want to touch them because I've taken my gloves off, so I'm going to get me a little spatula to do that little job. He says he can take it, but I can't. And then we just stir this and bring it to a boil on high. Isn't it beautiful? I think so too. It's a surprise! John Murray showed up in here. What you about to do, baby?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No.
You tired of doing all day? You about to do nothing?
I'm tired.
Well, I got to finish this pepper jelly before we do supper, but I wanted you to taste it. You just taste some of the juice, okay?
Okay.
I want you to get
I'm
up.
all about tasting.
Yes, hang on. All right, you come over here close. Let everybody get you in the camera. You can't see over there. Alright, don't burn yourself. See if it's got a good
I
flavor.
bet that's hot.
I told everybody you said you were going to eat it on the biscuit.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, it
Isn't
does.
it good?
Mm-hmm.
It's sweet.
Yeah.
It's sweet, and then it'll
Yeah,
catch up
then
with
it's
you
got a
and
little
turn
bite at the
spicy.
end.
Yeah.
I like that, baby.
I'm doing this, and then next I'm gonna make red and green for Christmas. You see our red peppers?
Yeah.
Really?
That's gonna be pretty.
It is.
That's gonna be pretty.
Y'all see what I'm talking about? How it bubbles up high. I'm gonna let this do this about 2 minutes, okay? And then we're gonna give it that freezer test. We're gonna put a little bit on a saucer, and we're gonna stick it in the freezer for 1 minute. But what I'll look for to give you some more ideas, this is running off that spoon really quickly. Like really quickly. And I will hold it up. And when it gets to where it drips out, right now it's just drippity drip drip. But when it gets to where it drips really slow, then I know it's probably time to do a freezer test. Right, y'all. Ooh, it is spicy up in this kitchen. Mine's been going about 5 or 6 minutes, okay? So you just have to watch it and wait till it's dripping off that spoon slower. And then I'm going to put a spoonful on a saucer. I don't know if y'all will be able to see it. But we're going to try. And then it goes into the freezer for 1 minute, okay? And that is my gel test. That's what I know if it's going to gel or not, become jelly. Some other things we're going to need is some little grabbers to get our hot jars out of there with a little stick with a magnet on the end of it. It gets our lids out of the hot water. And then we need us a funnel, a big mouth funnel, a canning funnel, if you will. Woo! That is some hot fumes. And that's going to be it. Oh, and I need a clean, dry towel. Let me grab that. Yeah, it's dripping much slower. I think it's going to be good. Let me get a dry towel. And I'll get y'all down here and we'll get this jarred up because we got to make that Christmas jelly. Let's see, guys. Can y'all see it? I don't know if you can or not. But if I run my finger through it, the line stays. Do you see that? If I run my finger through it, the line stays. We have jelly. Let's get it jarred. Okay, we'll take our canning prongs. We'll pour out that hot water, place a jar, take our funnel, and I have a ladle for jelly. Let me pour it in here. I'm going to pour it and leave about between the top of the jar and to the product about a 1/2 inch, so it needs a little more. Perfect. Now I need a clean towel that I wet just a bit so we can, woo, this jar is hot, guys, and I'm cleaning the top of it. Woo! All right, I'll take my little magnet and I'm gonna fish out of that hot water a lid and a twist top. And I twist it only as tight as my fingers get it, and then I set it to the side. Isn't that beautiful? Here is our pepper jelly, guys. I don't add the green, so mine's just pepper jelly. But if you want to and make it pretty green, you sure can. When you pour it out on cream cheese, you see the little green tidbits. One question I've heard people ask is how to keep it. Y'all see I made some little tiny jars too. These are 1/2 pints and these are quarters. One thing people say, how do you keep all your peppers from floating to the top? And this is what I'm answering. Flip them over for about an hour like this. and then flip them back like that. And it'll tend to make them distribute better. But when I pour mine over cream cheese, I just stir it up, and I usually heat it a little bit so it'll be nice and kind of runny, I guess what I'm saying. And, so anyway, that's my little tip, is just flip them upside down for about an hour. Okay, y'all, John's come in. He is ready for supper. So are y'all ready? We got to make this red and green pepper jelly with that surprise ingredient really fast. So y'all come on. All right, we've got our 6 cups of granulated sugar, and we've got 1 1/2 cups of white vinegar. We have 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Always tries to stick there. And we have 1.7 ounce package of sugar gel powdered. And since I'm using the powdered, I'll whisk that in right now really well. I'm going to turn on my heat now. And I'm going to let that sugar dissolve before I add my peppers real quick. And this pan, excuse me, right here, I'm going to turn this pan on. And real quick, this is my ingredient that I add for Christmas, is I add 1 cup of toasted chopped pecans. So right now we're going to toast them. You will move them around in your pan until you smell them, and that means they are nice and ready to take off that fire and chop up. All right. Now into this, now that we've gotten everything dissolved real well, I see it starting to boil. I'm going to put 1 cup of green bell pepper, and I'll put that juice that comes out too. I sure will. And 1 cup of red chopped jalapenos. And y'all know, and I'm going to repeat myself, if you can't get a hold of red jalapenos, then use a red bell pepper and green jalapenos. Either way, you will have red and green, and all will be well, right? Yes, with this world, it sure will. And now I'm going to bring this to a boil. Isn't that pretty? I can already smell my pecans, so that means they are ready, and I'm going to chop them. While it's boiling, and we're going to boil it for a few minutes, maybe 5 or 6, till I start seeing it drip off that spoon slowly. And don't forget that saucer and freezer test. All right, here is our freezer test. 1 minute on the saucer. And it does leave a trail, so it is ready to jar. All right, turn off the heat. Isn't that a beautiful color, y'all? Oh, it is. Last but not least, we put in our chopped 1 cup toasted chopped pecans, and we jar. How pretty is this? Okay, y'all. I have got to go get stuff figured out for supper tonight. My eyes are jalapenoed out. Yes, they are. But I want to show y'all this beautiful Christmas jelly. Ooh, it's so hot I can hardly hold it. That's another thing I was going to show y'all, is how I said turn these jars upside down for a little while. And then as it cools, I'm going to show each of you up close. You see the peppers? They stay distributed. Do you see that? So just try that if you like that, if you wanna. I'm gonna try these in a little bit. I'm gonna let them seal first. I will see y'all next time. I'm probably gonna make a short sitting out on the porch, eating this with some cream cheese when these cool down, and tell everybody to come join us and make these together. I'll see y'all next time. I love y'all.